back once again, Sports Rap Podcast here on Heat 100 Radio. It's your boy, Sports Rap D, and we are going to talk some NBA talk right now. And like I mentioned to you, the season is coming. The season is set to begin the regular season on December 22nd. So just to break down what Malik, what's going on, what you are in store for the upcoming 72 game NBA season. It's not going to be in the bubble, so we will definitely see how this plays out. And I'm not too concerned because, like I mentioned to you earlier, 134-page safety protocol guide has been released. So the structure for the season will be the schedule will be released in two halves. So for me, I'm guessing that that's part of that safety protocol where it's not just all run through, but they're going to have time where they can do some things to help prevent or help fight or combat COVID. Uh, Greg Robinson, what's going on? Yes, let's go Sixers. I like the way things have shaped up so far. Just can't wait to see them on the floor in action. The first half of the season will run from December 22nd to March the 4th, and will be released around the start of training camp, which is set for December the 1st. The won't the second half of the schedule won't be released until later in the first half. So sometime during the first half, while they're in play, the second half schedule will be released for the NBA season. Um, you know, it's really strange, but I'm just glad that we're going to have basketball. Like I said, I was happy for the restart, and I'm glad that we're going to have basketball. So, starting December 11th through the 19th will be the preseason games. After, like I said, training camp is set to start December the 1st. I'm sorry. Season first half of the season will be from December 22nd to March 4th, like I mentioned. March 5th through 10th will be the All Star break, and there is talk that there will be an All Star break, but there may not be an actual All Star game. So we'll see how that plays out. March the 11th through May 16th will be the second half of the regular season. May 18th through the 21st will be the play-in tournament, and for a month, May 22nd to 2 months, May 22nd to July 22nd will be the playoffs. Okay. Um, the play-in tournament, like I said, will be held from May 18th to 21st. Now, the league of governors, the board of governors, have unanimously approved the play-in tournament proposal for a one-year basis. Okay, this is how it's going to play out. The teams with the seventh and eighth highest winning percentages will have two chances to make the playoffs, while the teams with the ninth and tenth highest winning percentages will have one chance. So the way that's going to go, even a little bit more detail, is the 7-8 game will be between the teams ranked with the seventh and eighth record, eighth and seventh and eighth records, while the 9 and 10 game will feature the teams ranked ninth and tenth. The winner of the 7-8 game will advance to the playoffs. The loser will host the winner in the 9-10 game, as has been previously reported. So it looks like 7 and 8 will play. Whoever wins that will automatically go in, I guess, to the seventh seed, and then the loser of that will play the winner of the 9-10 game to get the eighth seed in the playoffs. Uh, 2 game preseason. The Sixers preseason schedule has been released. Those 2 games are Tuesday, December the 15th, at versus Boston it's Boston at home, and then Friday, December 18th at Indianapolis. So in this schedule, they had to have one home game and one game on the road. So over the past week, we're going to move into our Sixers talk right now. So that's what you have for the NBA. And again, as I get more information on how this thing is going to play out, I will definitely give you that information as I always do. So just talking a little Sixers, there was some talk last week in a tweet by Ben Simmons' sister last Tuesday, I believe, or last Monday, or over last weekend, whatever day it was, that there was supposed to be an alleged report or news of a trade coming last Tuesday. As we all see, nothing happened. And again, a lot of people asked me if I heard anything or if I knew anything. I called a good friend of mine, Aunt Gilbert, that I know, tried to see if he knew anything. And, we were all a little confused, if you will, about the tweet. Um, yeah, Rob, I don't see them finishing under the seventh either. I think they're actually going to be between like 1 and 5 somewhere. But it depends on how this thing all comes together. New coach, new system, new bodies, new personnel. So we'll see. Hopefully they get it together really quickly in training camp. Hopefully it's a crash, almost like a crash course, and they can come out the gates rolling. But like I said, I talked to my friend and we couldn't really figure out what was going on. And then there were reports that the tweet was allegedly attempted to be removed or walked off or whatever you want to call it. And then there was no trade, as we see where we are today. And it just takes me back to what people asked me before. And, Elton Brand immediately said after the sweep by the Boston Celtics in the playoffs in the bubble that he had no intention on trading Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. Daryl Morey comes in, and a lot of people were automatically expecting, oh, he's going to play small ball. He's going to get rid of Embiid. He's going to get rid of one of the two stars. He also came in and said that they're going to be here for a long time. He said in an interview. Um, he said the guys feel like the guys they took in the draft will complement and are good fits with Simmons and Embiid. Then you have Doc Rivers as the new head coach, who has said on a number of occasions, you have two guys that when they're on the court together, they win 65% of their games. That's a good number, a really good number to start off with as a new head coach. And why would he want that to be dispelled? Why would he want that to be disturbed? Like they say, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. So they're not going to fix that as of yet. And again, you have to honestly see what these guys can do under this new system as a coach. So again, just backtracking to last week, reiterating what the Sixers have done in the offseason, what Daryl Morey has done, which was somewhat of a surprise to a lot of people. And I was one who was actually surprised as well when this move happened, when I heard of this move happening, because I really thought that it would be super, super difficult for them to make this kind of move. But the team that they made this deal with, I understand where that team is going right now, so I understand why they possibly made the deal. It was getting rid of Brian Graves. Thanks for tuning in. It was getting rid of the horrible contract of Al Horford. Let me see. Looking at some comments here. Rob says, I feel as though our Sixers are going to go hard for our new coach. I agree. I think Doc, and again, like I mentioned with those last couple years of Brett Brown and the way things played out, that one word that I kept using, accountability. Doc Rivers is one for accountability. He's dealt with some egos. He's dealt with some issues with some players. So he knows how to manage that. And I am glad. Again, I applaud the Sixers for their urgency in doing this. Like, soon as they heard Doc Rivers was going from the Clippers, they immediately jumped in. And he was very intrigued, and I'm glad that he took the job here. So, again, we still have to see how all this plays out with them in his system and things of that nature. But the additions that were made, like I said, getting back to this trade, like I said, I thought it was going to be super, super difficult to move Al Horford's contract because of the contract that it was. He's got 3 more years on this contract for totaling 81 million. It's a lot of money for somebody who would arguably be coming off the bench, who also arguably uh, did not fit. Yeah, great chess move getting Doc Rivers. I totally agree with that. And again, it was one of those things I think where the Sixers saw that Al Horford was a free agent. He was the thorn in our side against Embiid when he played for the Celtics, a division rival. So you figure you bring him in to join us, and it might help. It just didn't help. And I don't know how you could break it down in percentage, but I know what I saw. I saw that it didn't fit basketball-wise, spacing-wise. It also could have been a little bit of coaching wise, where the coach didn't do enough to try and make it fit. So there could be something on both sides of that pendulum there with that. But again, it did not fit, and they made the move. He made the move first. Daryl Morey did made the move, got rid of that contract, and he got Danny Green, who was just recently traded from the Lakers to the Thunder, and Terrence Ferguson. So let's start with Terrence Ferguson. Good bench player, good role player off the bench, young, spry, can do a lot of things. Can fit in very well just coming off the bench and making things happen. Contributor. Then you look at Danny Green. And the first thing a lot of people said was, oh, they got old Danny Green. Like, can he really play? You have to understand something, people. Sixers were in a dire, dire need of shooting. Danny Green, his foot speed may not be there, but he can still shoot the ball. And again, because of his age, he can play enough defense where he's not a liability on the defensive end. He can also dribble enough or do enough to get in, work into the mid range where he's a shooter, so he can knock those shots down. But the spacing will be there because now teams will not be so quick to double Embiid because now they have a shooter, a legit knockdown shooter where you have to pay attention to or who you have to pay attention to on the court as well. Then you bring in Seth Curry, who is right now the active leader in 3-point percentage for the regular season. Another great move. It was in a trade, but another great move. You move Josh Richardson, who also just did not fit. And for this matter, I'm going to go on a limb and say this one was more coaching than the player fitting in. And like I said, player didn't really fit, but also the coaching and the